Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the costumeco channel. And we're back with another costume designer interview. And today I have with me Allyson Fanger. She is the costume designer of Shrinking, all three seasons. But we are here today to talk about season three. And, maybe we can touch on a little bit the other two seasons as well. So, welcome, Allyson. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you're in California, I
Yes,
believe. And you're in your workroom, it looks like, behind you
I'm
there.
I'm in my office that we've been in the same office. It's funny because all different shows come through, but we're in the same office for the season 4. We just started prepping about a week ago.
Yeah, that's so exciting. We were just talking a little bit about that before we went live.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know what? Before we get started, though, I was hoping to get to know you a little bit better because this is my first time meeting you.
Hmm.
And, because obviously we know that you have done Shrinking for the
Yep.
last three seasons, but I want to know a little bit about you, how you got into costume design and how you got your start doing that. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Not at all. It's kind of an unconventional path. I got a degree in cultural anthropology in college because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just liked those classes. Turns out it serves me very well to know about people and societies and, how socioeconomic and geographical location inform personal choices. It really actually did help me form my knowledge of character development, uh, which I didn't realize at the time. I was just sort of doing it because, again, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And then but I liked those classes. I liked the study of people, basically, and personalities and what forms them. And then after I graduated, I did a lot of traveling, which also really helped me in what I do today so much. I can't say enough how that helped form my worldview of people and characters. Because I did like Southeast Asia. I went to India, Nepal, Thailand, like did all this like far as different from the United States as I could get. I wanted to go. And it was really the best education I ever had. So I did that for about a year. And then I came back and I didn't know what I was doing. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, you should be a stylist." And I was like, "What is that? I don't even know what that is." And he said he was a photographer in Minneapolis. I'm from Minneapolis. He's a photographer in Minneapolis, and he said, "Oh, come, just come work with me and my stylist friend Molly, and see if you like it." And I did it one day, and I was like, "Oh, this is absolutely what I should be doing." It was like not even a question to me. So I started working with her a little bit. Then I started doing my own commercials in Minneapolis, like quite fast. I took to it very quickly, and then decided I was more interested in film and TV than in advertising. Just because at the time, I mean, at the time, the advertising now is quite creative. At the time, it was a little more pedestrian, like the looks and everything. And I just wanted to be more creative, Uh, so I got on a couple films that were in Minneapolis at the time as like a PA, and then I knew I had to move to Los Angeles if I wanted to pursue, and I did. So here I am.
Yes. By the way, speaking of Minneapolis, my son wanted to watch Purple Rain.
Oh yeah,
I believe it was shot in Minneapolis. I
it
could be
was.
wrong.
Mm.
Yes. So if
Yeah.
anybody, I actually saw the movie in the theater when I was in high school. So what an
Oh good.
experience that was. Yeah. So just
Yeah.
a little shout out to Minneapolis.
I'm happy that your son wanted to watch it. How did it play? How did it play for you?
Oh, amazing. And then
Yeah.
we went out and bought him the CD after because, the young people now are into physical media. So I
Yeah.
went and got him the CD. So,
Oh, that's great. I love it. Yeah, I
yeah.
did Untamed Heart when it was there. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh, amazing.
I was like a
Wow.
PA, I was like,
Yeah.
and
That
I
is
did.
crazy.
Yeah, but I made good contacts doing those films in Minneapolis
Mhm.
because the contacts I made there, carried here. When I came here, I had contacts and people hired me right away. And I couldn't have just come here cold. I needed the contacts because that's kind of how it works. So yeah.
Yeah. Now going from the stylist world to like the costume design world of
Mm-hmm.
Shrinking,
Mm-hmm.
which is set, primarily in one location, but you were saying you were able to use your worldview. I'm sure in many cases with these
Yeah.
wonderful characters.
Yeah.
So, you have been the costume designer for 3 seasons. So, like, how does that affect you when you are planning your next season, like having done season 1 and 2? Do you mind sharing your process a little bit with us?
Not at all. Um, you know, we do refresh our boards every season to reflect the changing, you know, nature of the characters, right? So they're all moving through. So we're really waiting on season 4. We don't know what's happening. I think this is maybe the most challenging because going into season 1, we always knew that the first season was grief and loss, and the second season was I think it was what the first season shoot
The
now I can't
stages of grief, I
Stages of
guess?
Grief, yeah, it was like and then it was
Mhm.
like acceptance, and then it was second season 2 was like acceptance, and then season 3 was moving on, you know? Uh, so we knew the journey of the characters ahead of time, overreaching journey each season. This season is gonna be new. They're on a new journey, and we're not sure what it is. So we're kind of waiting to see before we really dig in, because I know it's 2 years later, but I don't know what anyone's state of mind is yet, you know? So really it's about finding, we do boards, visual boards, obviously reflecting the characters. When I did the first boards for Jason's character, Jimmy, he was in quite a dark place. We used very washed out, muted colors on him. Mostly, he had a colorless life, really, because his life was without color, and he is without his life force. His wife, had passed, and like he had holes in his sweater in that first pilot episode. He just was very unkempt, very
Mhm.
very down.
Can I
Um,
ask you a question, Allison? Are those mood boards behind you that, on the wall there that you have
yes,
some of your characters? I'm just
yes.
question for any of my viewers because I talk about mood boards with my viewers a lot, and just so it's sort of a visual representation of it's sort of your. Well, maybe it's better if you share what your mood boards are for the
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, we did I think that the biggest story there for the first season was that Jimmy was so down. Liz had to be a great representation of a Los Angeles, you know, mom, but like a cool one, you know? Um, so she's really evolved too. Like second season, she had like that sort of like romantic arc in the second season. She had like old flame show up. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
we upped her a little bit. Like, you just, like, all reflects the story. I
Hmm.
just go off the scripts, right? The other thing in the first season, and then I make the boards, and then I do my meetings, right? So, I read the words, I color in with my head how I see these characters. Like, if it's a well-written script, it's always about the script. If it's a well-written script, I'm able to see my characters in my head. Like, they just kinda come in as I'm reading. This was an extremely well-written script from the very beginning. And they all are so good. So Gabby's character she was the life force, and you can see in her clothes, and we've continued that throughout the seasons, her brightness, and her like playfulness, and was the life in the whole story.
Hmm.
She was the brightness and the color and the life. So that's why we evolved her that way. Season 3, she has an emotional arc that was, quite difficult. And that we had to pull her back. It was hard to pull her back for me because I was
Yeah.
like,
I was gonna say, by the way, when I was going through some of the still images of Gabby's
yeah,
character, I was always blown away by how, like, glowing she is in
yeah,
every scene, like, in every picture. I'm like, it's like she doesn't take a bad picture, which is strange.
yeah,
I mean, maybe there are a few were filtered out, but I was like, every picture, she just looks so glowing in
yeah. She's
her look.
gorgeous.
Mhm.
I know, we have so much fun with her look and her outfits and her whole she's so statuesque and tall, and she can
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
carry so much look, you know? Like, not everyone can carry those looks.
No, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So one of my questions for you is because I can imagine this must be super challenging. So it feels like every season they're just building out the characters. There's more and more characters, more and more storylines. So how challenging is that for you and your team? I mean, you're probably running out of wall space to be able to, put up your mood boards. But how
Yeah.
challenging is that for you? Like now, we're in season 3. You don't know what's going to happen in season 4, but there's so many characters. Like even when I was going through this, like I have to label all the names so I can keep track, right?
I know, and they all come back, which I love. I love that they come back. We love it.
Absolutely. Yes.
And it's like a constant, like, we have to use the scripts and the words to figure out who these people are. And sometimes we don't have a lot of words. Sometimes there's not a lot of information in there about the people. But even, we were talking about this the other day, even like woman at food truck who, Liz is rude to, like, she needs to have a story. I'm
Hmm.
always like, okay, well, what's her job? Where does she live? You know? Um, how much money does she make? Like, I just want to know. That's how I decide who she's going to be. And I try to make everybody different. I mean, obviously my 8 main characters are all quite well defined. You can see they're all very much their own people, just as they are written as their own people, even though they are this like unit. They're
Hmm.
all so different and well defined as characters. Like we say, you could like cut their heads off and you would know there's no question of who that person is, if it's Derek
Yeah, like
or
Derek's always got some kind of like vest on or something. He's
yeah,
always going. I
handsome
love
dad.
that. He's the dad. Yeah, he's got the layered look. But also
Yeah,
you're complimenting the characters too. Like so they look good together. It's not just like
yeah.
each individual character. Either
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
couples look good together, or the workplace folks look good together. So everyone complements one another. I love that.
yeah. Each scene is like I look at every scene. When I plan out the show boards, because we do a plan with the show. Once we're getting ready to shoot the show, we do big fittings, right? We do big fittings. I have a lot of looks for each of my characters. Then when we're planning out the show, um, my team and I make boards for each scene, basically visual boards, and we plug in looks. And it's like for me, it's like a painting. Everything needs to balance color wise. I really love working color, and color is so important. Um, and there's different values, right, for color. So it has to be complementary in the scene as a whole. So when we have like a big amount of people in a scene, um, it's like a fun challenge to make sure that everybody looks well together as a group.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, so you've already touched on a little bit of this, but
Mhm.
so one of the things that I feel is the show looks very natural. It looks very grounded. Like you would walk by these people, like you would see these folks like on the street, right?
Yes,
If you were
thank you.
shopping in
Yeah,
downtown LA or something. I believe
yeah,
I'm Canadian, but I feel
yeah,
that when I'm watching the show, I can feel that's what it would be.
yeah.
So, with that in mind, how did you approach, maintaining that authenticity that you've sort of created starting in season 1 and 2 to carry over into season 3, giving that visual story that you're telling us?
You mean like a relatability of the
Yeah,
character?
exactly. Sorry. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, and I'm sorry, what was the question? How does it carry over?
Yeah. Sorry. How did you like? So you started it in season 1 and 2, and then you've sort of been developing it. How did you keep that, that natural lived-in feel for these characters?
I mean,
I
I
hope that
just
makes
really
sense.
like people to be authentic. I think that,
Yeah.
like, for one, Alice's character is interesting for me because it was really important to me that she looked like an actual, like in season 1 and 2, especially like an actual teenage girl in Los Angeles. They have a very specific look, these girls here, and it isn't like how you see a lot of teens portrayed on TV, you know? Um, I just wanted her to feel real because like this story is about this group of people that everybody wants to be friends with them, right? So there has to be this like relatability to them and accessibility. It has to feel like this could be your neighbor. This could be the girl in high school. And it has to feel specific to Los Angeles because the Los Angeles show and Pasadena and Altadena. That's another part of it that we had to bring in. I was like, okay, it's Pasadena. We do it more like with the atmosphere and like the neighbors. I feel like the Pasadena vibe of it. I
Hmm.
don't know if people are listening, they're from California, they know every area of California has its own distinct look. Even the West Side is different than Hollywood, is different than Silver Lake, is different than Pasadena, Altadena. Like they all have their own distinct look. So we cater to that with our BG, and then, and with our group. Um, and then Alice, season 3, she gets into Wesleyan, and then she's going to go to Wesleyan. So we had to bring a little bit of a different piece of character to her, because Wesleyan University itself has a very distinct look. The kids that go there also have a really distinct look.
Mhm.
They're more into like vintage and Grailed and Depop, and that's where
Yeah,
they're
I've got a few
shopping.
pictures of her here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And obviously she's, like you say, she was a teenager when we first meet her. I mean, I think she's still a teenager, but you could see her definitely developing into a young woman in season
Exactly.
3.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a vintage
Mhm.
jacket, and the shorts, and the bag. The bags are a big deal for us. For Alice, we use these really cool vintage bags. It's like a vintage Coach bag. That one.
I wanted to ask you, that's one of my questions we can get to after, as I'm really into like the use of vintage and when designers choose to use vintage. So it seems that like young people are kind of going back. I don't know if it's I don't know. Oops, let me get that back here. I don't know
Mhm.
if it's because they want to upcycle, or did you want to talk a little bit about that,
Sure.
or sure?
I think
Go
there's
ahead.
I think that
See a
there's
picture of her. The picture
they want
here.
to look like not like everyone else, you
Hmm.
know? I think that with the rise of, like TikTok, Instagram, there's like a like style posting, get the looks. There's a lot of like, there almost became like a homogenization, to style,
Hmm.
that I think this generation is rebelling against a little bit, and they want to feel like they look, you know, unique. And I love that. I'm happy to see it. You know, Everybody was sort of starting to dress the same. I feel like, and in high
Yeah,
school,
and
like she was the same. Like she did dress, all those girls, they do dress the same. They wear like a lot of brandy and stuff. We did that. And then when they get a little older, they want to define themselves and have cool things, be cooler, unique. That's the way to get it.
yeah, no, I know, and I'd read in your show notes that you do like to use local brands, which I think is always awesome when that you're doing that,
Mm.
and then also that's why I was wondering. So, are there any particular California brands that you enjoy using, and
Yes.
do you have some local hotspots that you go to for vintage, or do you shop online? What are your sort of
I
your
mean,
go-to
we
places?
combination of things. I used to have there were some really good. I like to go, ideally, I like to go to you know, ideally, it would be like a real thrift store, like a Goodwill style, where it's like everything is like $3.99 and you just get a giant bag. A
Yeah,
lot
we
of
used to
those,
have a place in Canada called By the Pound where you would pay by
yeah,
the pound and you could get some amazing. I mean, you'd have to wash
yeah,
everything obviously once you get home,
yeah.
but
I got the best stuff there. But we do like Wasteland,
oh
um,
yeah, okay.
and like Buffalo Exchange, and I like Ref Vintage is well curated if I'm in a hurry. If I can, I'll go to like one of the flea markets. There's Pasadena Flea on or the Rose Bowl. Um, those are good. There's a current affair that comes in like every month or so, or every 3 months now, or something like that. They've been around a lot. And Pickwick, like there's ones that where like all the vintage dealers gather, and then sometimes I like to go to those where all the vintage dealers are there and see what they're each finding, and then kind of hone in on the people that are finding the things I'm looking for at the time, and then making a personal relationship with them, and then working directly with them is what I mostly will do. Like if I'm looking for like specifically like 80s or something, like some people
Mhm.
are just like they're like 80s vintage dealers, they're very like they niche themselves, so it's like nice.
Now, aside from Alice and maybe Summer, are there other characters that you like to use vintage for?
um I mean, Liz wears some kind of cool things like
I was
vintage.
wondering about that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
she is. It can get tricky with vintage
Yeah.
tees because of the clearance stuff, which is just
Mhm.
boring. But for the LA brands specifically, because I don't want to go off of that, because I felt like it was really important after the fires to use LA brands, but I already had been using LA brands just to make it authentic to Los Angeles and what I see people in Los Angeles wearing, especially Liz. You know, she wears like Claire V is a big one.
I don't know
And
if these are, I'll just show some pictures here of her I've got.
that's not Claire V, but
By the way, I
that's
love these pants. I
yeah.
just absolutely
Which
love
pants
those.
were these? I'm going to show my ACD because these were, I think they're a blue salt. Anyway, Christa actually that's like a Malibu designer that Christa knew
Oh,
that
yeah.
she brought those in actually to wear. I can look to see what they
So
were. I know
cute.
I tagged them in one of my posts.
Yeah, they're kind of, they remind me of a tuxedo pant, but they look like a soft pant.
Yeah, they're like a track pant.
So cute.
We do the track pant thing, and then we use a lot of the Great, that brand, the Great. We use Mother,
Hmm.
Elwood, Greg Lauren
Here's some
is a
other
huge
pictures of
one
her.
for us. He's local. Started using Superwoman. All of Liz's jewelry is Jen Meyer. She's local. Um, Big Bud Press we use on Gabby. Favorite Daughter we started using. I use a lot of on Lukita and Summer. I use this brand called Bella Venice, which is local. Young girl started. I think she's 22 or something. She started it when she was in high school, so I love to support her. Maya Brenner, local. I love to support her. Yeah, this is
By the
all.
way, I love how she's wearing a hat that's almost kind of like sorry, Derek's mom, which is Constance. By the way, that's my sister's name, so I should know
Oh,
that. We called her Connie growing up, but she insists it's Constance. And
yeah.
obviously, yeah. But I love how they kind of have the similar style hat. I
Oh,
don't know if that was
that
intentional.
was that was intentional.
Mhm.
100%. I loved that moment too. That was a fun episode to do for many reasons, and one of them being that mother-in-law relationship and how they had a weird sort of stylistic sensibility that mirrored one another in a
Mhm.
way. And it was funny because they showed up, uh, Candice Bergman showed up wearing the exact same shoes as Christa was wearing for that scene, and
Oh, no way.
she just wore them, yeah. And
Yeah.
they were these
I
Belgian loafers, which are like a super niche New York brand. And I do, I wanted to keep Candice Bergman because she's an East Coast. I was like, my first question was like, where does Derek's mom live? And it was like, oh, she's like Upper East Side, you know.
Mhm.
So I wanted to keep her more New Yorky. She's like a New Yorky version of Liz. And Krista always says to me, she's like, this is my LA version of me. And she'll just say it like about herself. LA version, New York version. You know, there's like, it's just very
Mhm.
specific of where you live. Where did you grow up?
This, by the way, this sort of look for the two of them just sort of feels like
Yeah.
there's, Darren's wearing his, I don't know if it's LL Bean wearing his little fleece vest. And then
Yeah.
Liz is very, I love that jacket as well. It's so cool.
That's Greg Lauren.
Mm.
And then there you have a little piece of Pam there. And she was like
Oh, yes.
my very Pasadena Pam moment. And like I never treat like all my day casts. I'm glad you brought them up and how huge they are because all my day casts, it doesn't matter how small the part is. Like I will, like it matters. You know, it's all part of the story. They wouldn't be there if they weren't telling part of the story. And so we always take the time and the care to flesh out their characters, no matter if they're in one scene of the episode or if they have a whole arc. You know, they matter just
Yeah.
as much.
Well, here's a sort of a group shot, which is,
Yeah.
and then of course Gabby is just like, she just zone in on her. But just, you've got some great background people in this shot, but then also
Yeah.
your core cast.
And then I wanted to put a lot of I wanted to use like the school colors, you know,
Yes, of course.
not overdo it, but like that's how people actually sit in the stands at these games, right? They
Hmm.
are the school colors and like Michael Urie, Brian is wearing a hat. You can't see it in that photo, but
Hmm.
you know, it's authentic to the character. Like Paul and Julie, probably not gonna wear like merchandise from the school.
Yeah.
Jason, I don't know. I'm not sure why we didn't do one on him. I think he didn't, it wasn't right for that moment. But you can see Derek, like who's going to have the spirit, right?
Yeah, of
Gabby put the
course.
yellow ribbon in her hair. Liz wore the hat. Derek, well, he face painted in that episode too, which was funny. And then of course Summer is wearing that CB hat. I was just like, merch, merch, merch. We need school merch in the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul's got a hat, but he's holding it in his hand.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Well, anyway, speaking of that, oh, let me see if I can get rid of this. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm using a different system. So, there
I
we go.
love seeing him.
I was going to ask you, okay, so we sort of touched on this a little bit with color, which is like, I have to say in all the shows that I look at and all the interviews I do, how important color is. And you touched on that in the earlier seasons for Jimmy, obviously. He was in mourning. He's going through all the stages of grief. So
Right.
did you want to tell me a little bit about how, okay, first off, is there a color that you will not use, you'll only use on one character and not any other color? Like Gabby, for instance, will you only use one color on her that you would not use on another character, I should say? Or do you have any rules around color?
Well, I always say my rules are there are no rules.
Oh, okay. I love that is a rule in a way.
Yeah, I don't like rules. I will gravitate towards palette. I think it helps to define your characters, and it helps it to be more like it's like an underlying sort of information that people don't necessarily like cognitively like register, but that as they're watching the story, it helps them to understand better and to understand the characters better as different people. Like Paul, obviously his palette stays like I like when I walk into my space, which is like we call it the cage, which was where all my character class live, or my trailer, and I see how cohesive the palettes are for each character. Right.
Yes.
So like Jimmy is
There's Paul
more
here.
like, yeah. Well, Harrison wore that green jacket without like that's his warming coat. I don't know why he wore that in the scene.
Oh, okay. But I actually, yeah, because I was going to say it does seem a little out of character for him.
It was. And he was like, I'm wearing my jacket. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. Whereas here,
Okay,
this is him
Harrison,
sort of in more typical Paul look.
yeah. He wears brown. He wears navy. He wears
Yeah.
gray.
He
Every
wears a
now
lot
and
of
again,
jeans.
he wears jeans all the time. He wears a lot of blue, and it just looks well on him. And it just works for his character. Where Jimmy is more like like brown, earthy, ruddy, textural. Like we do a lot more. Like we do this texture. You can see the texture in that jacket. He's got his palette.
I was making a comment. I don't know where you get his jackets from, but I've never seen anything like them. Like they're not like a suit jacket. They're almost like they look like a knit. Like is there a particular brand?
They're sort of like unstructured jackets.
Unstructured,
Yeah,
yes.
we use like Faraday, we use Purse, we use Buck Mason. Who else are those jackets? Paul, Kasha, my shopper's in the room with me. Like that one. That's number 7. Yeah, like you could see, like you just look at them and you go like, oh, well, that's like those are his colors, and obviously she's wearing the pops, the bright pops. That's
Yes,
a dark one for her.
like she's always got she's always sort of like Gabby's always that sort of bright, beacon.
Yeah, except when she went through her sad arc where we had to take away her color for a minute.
Absolutely.
But she's back. But she's,
I know.
Great photos. I love these. These are great.
I love this one, by the way. This is well, first of all, look, this is an example of what I'm talking about, how glowing she is. She just looks
she's
stunning.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I love that. I know we were gonna like the jacket. I was like, we almost shot it without the jacket, and then we're like, no, we need the jacket. We need the color.
Beautiful. It's just a beautiful punch of color. Just and sometimes like for me, like for instance, you're wearing this beautiful like hot pink tracksuit. Sometimes just having that nice little visual, like tickle or a little treat. It's sort of a nice sensation to have that.
Totally, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't always wear color, but today I wore this jacket.
It's great.
Thank you.
I love it. Now, one of the things because we're running, I don't want to run out of time. I wanted to talk to you because we have there's so many arcs that are happening this season, and a lot of beats and so on. And so we have, like, for instance, Paul's wedding. We have the Charlie's baby. We have Alice's graduation. And then, of course, at the end of the season, by the way, there's going to be spoilers here, Gabby's proposal.
Mhm.
So now I know you say you follow the script. So when you're doing the script, do you go through it and say, okay, we have these milestone beats that I really want to punch that up a little bit? Would you mind sharing that a little bit with me? I've got like Paul's wedding here, for instance.
Yeah, the wedding was a really nice one, and, like, it's funny when you
Yeah.
said all those milestone events because they're all signifying them
Hmm.
moving on, you know? This is everybody's having a moment where in which they're moving on, from wherever they were. Yeah, Paul's wedding was that was that was so crazy because it was we've just started, but then the fires happened, right? So
Oh my gosh, yes.
so we ended up shooting the interior stuff right away. We couldn't get the
Hmm.
house because the house that we shoot as is in Pasadena. So we couldn't even get in there till the end of the season. But anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, so we ended up with that green color, which obviously Paul wears in his tie as
Oh
part
yeah,
of
let
the
me put it back there.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we wanted that to feel like Julie's dress needed to feel like something she had because it was such a last minute thing.
Hmm.
So that was something she was in her closet and just was pretty and looked well, and we loved it
Well,
for
she
her.
looks good in everything, though. She's
Yeah,
one of those people.
yeah, she's gorgeous, and everyone else the same kind of thing. Like you need to be special, but it's like a backyard wedding,
Hmm.
so and it's a fast wedding, so everyone sort of has to have something that maybe they already own, but still be special, right? Which is its own particular challenge. But I think everybody looked so good. I was really happy with how everybody turned out in this wedding, and Gabby's, you know, beautiful in her color and her lightness, and she's the hostess. She's the J Lo, the
Oh
wedding
yeah,
planner.
yeah. She's in charge. Yeah,
She,
as opposed to like, whereas say something like the baby coming, the birth of the baby is sort of like everyone, they're kind of caught off guard. They don't really know. They're like,
yeah,
they're all calling each other.
yeah, they're all just sort of at home. Liz was much more like also at home this season. She's just sort of running
Mm.
in and out of her house a lot. Um, but yeah, that's a nice shot of everybody sort of in their most regular element,
Yeah.
in their not an elevated version, just like in a regular slice of life moment, you know?
Yeah, the other thing I was going to talk to you about, which sorry, I don't have any of my questions, but you're also like, for instance, a lot of stuff is exterior so you have these like settings. I was just thinking of all the milestone events that you have that are exterior shots, like Abby, for instance, her proposal was also done
Yeah.
in an outdoor, or they're just sitting outside, like having a cocktail or something.
They were at
Um,
cornhole. The
yeah,
cornhole place.
the cornhole place.
Yeah.
I'd like to get one of those places where I live. Um,
Yeah. So that's fun. We love the cornhole.
So, but also the beautiful everyone's always on Reddit are always talking about like Liz's home, like how gorgeous it is, or Jimmy's house even. Like everyone's like, "Oh, I'd love to have like Jimmy's kitchen." So,
Yeah.
I guess sometimes you must have to keep in mind sort of the setting, like
Oh yeah.
the backdrop that you're going to be having
Yeah.
when
Oh,
you're doing those
absolutely.
scenes.
We have all the colors of the walls
Mhm.
and the furniture because you don't want to put a person in a beige sweater anywhere in Liz and Derek's house
Yeah,
because
there's
it's
there
like
exactly.
because you'll lose them.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes along with what I was saying about everything sort of being a painting for me. That's
Yeah.
part of it. The sets, the walls, the curtains, the furniture, you know. And that was a little like if you saw that picture, the one you were just on with
With
from
Sophie?
the piano, yeah, of
Yeah.
Sophie. Um, she's in that pretty dress because that was
Oh,
also
it's
like
so
an
cute.
event where it's like a party, but not really a party, and everybody was elevated, but not so much that it felt like formal in any way, feels relatable, like we talked about before also. And also I liked that dress for her because I had Tia in a dress. And I don't know if you noticed the color in that episode, but there's the flashback with Jimmy playing the piano with Tia,
Mhm.
and he's in his like, he's in a happier, like he was in a color we never put him in, except when we do flashbacks. When we do flashbacks for Jimmy, I don't think you have a picture of that one, but when we do
Oh,
flashbacks
sorry.
for Jimmy, he's always in this sort of like blue color. Like a,
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I was just thinking,
yeah,
so because this is supposed to be
this is
his
different.
Tia's birthday. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah.
And so there's a flashback where his wife is singing with him while he's playing.
Right. And he's in this
And-
plaid, this like kind of a blue, like
yes.
aqua-y color.
Oh, okay. I unfortunately I don't have that picture.
Yeah, that's a color that we use only in his past when Tia's alive.
Interesting. So there is a color that you're using as a storytelling
Yeah.
device.
Yeah, exactly. And then when he's in current day, it's just like more of his regular palette. But when we shot that episode, it was like the flashback was him in that bright color, and then it showed him at the piano, like alone, cut to him alone at the piano, and in his current day. And we really played with, the lighting and everything to make it look, quite different in his
Mhm.
to portray his emotional state.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, and then actually, before we touch on anything else, I just wanted to share also this photo of Alice and Summer's graduation. So that's
Yeah.
sort of, they're in the school colors there.
Yeah.
Is this a made up school? Like, I mean, I'm assuming it is. It's not
Yeah.
a real. So you had
Yeah.
to kind of design a graduation robe.
I think we ended up just renting those. We did not design those. That was another very fast thing we had to do.
Oh, okay. But
But
but you were able to get the sigil of the eagle and everything on there, or did you make
yeah.
the stoles?
No, we
Okay,
made those. We made
you
those.
did. Okay,
Yeah, we have a
yeah.
graphics department. They because that school is a fictional school, so
Okay.
we made all that, and we got all those like honors cords and everything. That was like
Hmm.
fun. I wish you could see their dresses. Their dresses were so cute.
Hmm.
Um,
I can
but
sort of
yeah,
see Alice is there. It looks like a pretty slip dress under there.
it is pretty. I think I have a nice photo of her in just the dress on my
Mhm.
Instagram. I want to check it out. Or
By
I
the way, I
can
have
send
to
you.
show this picture just because this is just like one of those.
Oh my
You've
god.
got some really fun.
Well,
You've got some like, I mean, Brian, some of his looks are hilarious.
I know that was a funny one, and that was written in the script.
Oh, it
It
was
was
okay.
that he
Did
had.
you dye this or did you find this
No, no,
piece?
no. We found that I have an incredible shopper
That's
buying for
so good.
everything, and it was that his shorts need to be really, really short. And so that was like a funny moment. So we just like we went for it. And when the writers start to write because it was like we had put him in funny clothes for hiking. Like I
Because I think
love the
that's when they
hiking
take Paul to
scene.
the gym and Jim, like
But
they're sort of making Paul working out, I think.
yeah,
Him and
yeah. And the
Derek.
writers wrote to it and I always love it when we read a script and we're like, oh, they wrote to that because that's just something that we just did
Hmm.
for hiking was make his looks kind of like funny and over the top for the hiking for Brian. So then when that script came in and they'd written his shorts were really short, we were like, okay, great. It's like nice
This
when
is so fun.
they pick up on, things that
Well, and Brian just seems like the type who would want to show off his legs anyway.
yeah,
He's like, I've got great legs. I'm going to show them off, right?
exactly.
By the way, before we wrap up on this, I just also want to show this one. Is Alice's dress there vintage, or is that a local
Yeah.
brand?
Well, it is vintage. We got that at
So pretty.
Reformation Vintage. It's like recent though. It's not even that old, but it was like it almost should have been from like a Buffalo Exchange, but it was at Reformation Vintage. Isn't that pretty? I love that
That's
dress.
so pretty.
And then the one in the middle looks like it could be vintage.
Yes.
The one in summer, that's that brand Bella Venice that I was talking
Oh
about.
yeah, and she looks so cute, and the hair and makeup is really, I mean, compliments like
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
So
we always share the visual boards I was talking about. We share those with the hair and makeup team so that when they start getting the actors ready for a scene, they know what they're wearing.
Mhm.
So we can all work together that way. And if it's something very specific, we'll have a meeting or a conversation. Like when we did the rave scene, there was a lot.
That's right, the rave.
Yeah, that
I don't have
went
any
from like
pictures
a
from that. That's
rave to a
darn it.
warehouse party. It was like that was a whole
That would have been
crazy.
so fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Well, we have to wrap up here, but I just wanted to ask you. So I know just one question. So,
Mhm.
is there anything from this season, like in particular, that you're particularly proud of that you and your team did that you would like to sort of mention?
I mean, we kill it every day. My team is so good. I have
How many
such a
people are
good
on your
team.
team, by the way?
I think there's 10 of us.
Oh
10.
wow, that's a solid. Like, but you must bring in other folks throughout the season to help
Yeah, we
out.
have like additional shoppers sometimes for the bigger scenes, like the wedding scenes, or
Mhm.
Thanksgiving in season 2 was like a big one. Also came on, like depends how much time we have to prep, or if we have new characters that come in. Like
Mhm.
Maya was a very well defined character. We
Oh
knew,
yeah, I have it. Yeah, Maya. And I have that one picture, a couple of pictures of her here
yeah,
that I was
I'm
sharing
proud of
with
how
you.
she turned out because that was like also a very like kind of a last minute. Sometimes we get our cast sometimes quite last minute and
Yes.
and like I said before, like it's so important to me that each character, especially one like this with an arc, is well flushed out and unique and different than anybody else that we've ever seen on the show in the
Mhm.
series, you know? Um,
And
and
you know what I
then,
love too is that sometimes people think that when somebody's struggling with depression that they don't necessarily dress in bright colors, or maybe this is a moment where she is feeling, in particularly, a little happier than she
yeah,
would
she was a little
normally be.
happier after being at that workout thing and she bought the
Yeah,
t-shirt. Like we had
yeah,
her like, because she went there and didn't know she was doing that. And then she
hmm
bought the t-shirt and maybe borrowed those pants from like Gabby or Alice because like
sure.
she she was going to be working out when she got there.
Hmm.
So all of that is very intentional for us. But yeah, she was an interesting one. I feel proud of just honestly, it's comprehensively all the moments. It was so hard. Like when we have to pick one episode when we do our selections for submitting for awards. It's so hard to pick for me because I'm so proud of all the work that we did all season. Like I think the wedding in the beginning, I'm really happy with. I love the way that episode with Candice Bergman turned out
Hmm.
um, with the play with the mother and the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law and like that whole relationship was really good.
Yeah.
And the sneaker episode was also crazy.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yes.
that was a great one. I'm really proud of how that turned out.
Yeah.
And my team really killed it on that because those were hard to find and we did not have a lot of time. And they had to be rare sneakers and they were rare sneakers. So that was
That's when
also,
you're like calling in all your favors. You're like, putting out the
yeah,
word. This is what we need.
we're like shipping things to my shopper's parents' house, arrive on a Saturday.
That's
I'm like,
great. I
make
love
sure they're
that.
there, make sure they're there. They have to sign for it.
Yes.
Like it's like stressful.
That's the stuff that people don't know about. We just see the
Yeah.
magic. We don't know about
Yeah.
all the
She's
crazy stuff that
laughing.
goes on behind the scenes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. And like, I mean, we're kind of, I mean, I said to my team this morning, it was funny. I had another meeting at 8 o'clock and like 7 o'clock this morning. I was like, wait, can we get like all of a sudden it was like all of us on deck, 7 a.m. getting everything I didn't needed together for this, another meeting I had, an interview I had about, particularly about the sneaker episode. So we had to pull up all the photos and it was just so funny. And I was like, you guys, I like adrenaline. So here we go.
Yeah.
We like it. We like every day to be different. Throw it at
Yeah.
us. We got it. Like catching the ball in the air and like making it good.
Yeah.
We
You're
just do it
high-fiving
every
each
time.
other.
Yeah, we do it.
Look at
And
us. Look what we did.
we love it. We love it. Yeah. And I
Um,
got this little sneaker. I gave this to my team. I'll show you this
oh,
thing.
let me see.
To my team after at Ralph. I got
Oh my gosh,
little
those are so
little sneaker
cute.
keychains.
Oh, adorable. I love it.
I was just looking, it was on my desk. I was like, oh, that's cute. I should
That's
show
so cute. So before I let you go, so other than shrinking, is there anything else you're working on at the moment? I mean, obviously you're super busy with the show.
Yeah, I mean, I did the second season of Running Point that comes out, that show came
Oh,
out
okay.
on Netflix, and that comes out on the 23rd. I
So you
think
don't
that
have enough work with shrinking that you have to take on other work.
yeah. Well, we only shoot like for 6 months or something like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
then
Yes.
we have time to do other projects. Yeah.
And again, it's nice to do something different because
Yeah.
then it's like when you come back, you're fresh, right? You have
Yeah.
a fresh sort of perspective on things.
Yeah, and I'm also doing a lot on the Shop My platform for people that want to get looks from the show because I get a lot of people reaching out to me asking me where to find things. So I started working, and I made a really nice Shop My page.
That's so cool. I'll put a
Mhm.
link for that because I
Yeah,
actually I refer to that show or that those folks a lot. Like when I'm even doing a review channel, like a review, like the White
yeah,
Lotus or something like that, I'll go there and see. And then you also share a lot of stuff on Instagram, I believe.
yeah. I do.
Mhm.
I'm due for
So we'll
another.
put that link too.
Yeah, please do. Because that's been really active and good, and people are really appreciating the thing. We did not only did we do, the looks per characters, and all of them are getting love. Sean, you
Mhm.
know, everybody's like Sean, Gabby, Paul, like Jimmy. People ask me to wear Jimmy's jackets. They're all linked on my Shop
Mhm.
My, and
That's amazing.
we also did like a look for less section on the Shop My.
Oh, yeah, where you could get like you wouldn't have to spend as much money
Yeah,
on the clothing. I
yeah,
love
it's not the
that.
exact piece, but it's like something.
Yes.
And
Something
and going
close.
Yeah, and going into season 4 now, I'm gonna start posting on the Shop My page things that I'm actually using in season 4. So, like,
Amazing.
think
So I'll have to get that link from you, and I
yeah,
will add that to the bio below.
yeah,
But I
please.
have to wrap things up, Allison, as much
Yeah,
as I don't want to,
yeah. No,
because we're out of time, and I have to let you go. So you could probably, yeah, probably have to go do some
I do
work.
I do have a full day
Yes.
today, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, anyway, I just want to thank you so much. And Shrinking, season 3, it's all out. All episodes are out right now on Apple TV. It used to be Apple
yeah,
Plus, but I understand it's now Apple TV. And we will have to wait a little bit for season 4, which according to you has a 2-year time jump. So that's exciting.
yeah.
So, and I really hope you'll come back. It was such a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, you too. This is really nice. I
Well, and
enjoyed talking.
anyways, and thanks everyone for spending time with us today. Have a
Yeah,
great day. Take
thank
care.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye. I'm just going to end the recording
Okay.
and then we'll be good.